Mahama, and the Vice President-elect, Professor Naana Opoku Agyemang-7th. We are seeing more arrivals of our dignitaries. We just saw the arrival of the outgoing First Lady, the lovely wife of His Excellency, the outgoing President. So on our screen now is the outgoing President, His Excellency Naana Opoku Agyemang-7th, and his lovely spouse, Madam Rebecca Akufo-Addo.
You are live on GTV, the station of the nation, and we are telecasting this event live across all the regions in Ghana. And I believe you can also listen to our radio commentaries on all the regional FM station of the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation. We still remain the pace setters. That's why we always bring you live coverage of national events.
So we still have more arrivals.
Distinguished guests, we also have in our midst Head of State of the Democratic Republic of Congo, His Excellency Felix Tshisekedi. You are most welcome, sir.
I'll witness the arrival of the Right Honorable Speaker and the Chief Justice.
As you can see, viewers at home, the Blaster Square here.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we also have
event, and I call it a historical event for so many reasons. One of which is that a former president has been re-elected to serve just one term. We also have our first ever female vice president. Now arriving is the Chief Imam, Sheikh Osman Sharabutu, one of the spiritual pillars of our country, especially when it comes to Islam.
Mahama, in the person of Lieutenant Colonel Abdul Wahab Issa. Let me also use this opportunity to dispel the misconception of who an ADC is. The ADC is not a bodyguard. The role of an ADC is very prestigious and for facilitating the president's effectiveness in office. The president's ADC has a unique role in ensuring the smooth execution of the president's daily activities. These include accompanying the president during official engagements and ceremonies. He also acts as the president's primary personal assistant, managing schedules and ensuring the president's time is optimized. He is someone with great organizational skills. He collaborates with security teams to ensure the president's safety, also coordinates transportation and professionalism, and he acts as a trusted confidant to the president in various matters. The ADC is also a link between the president and other government officials and relays instructions from the president to the relevant stakeholders, all teams. He also ensures adherence to official protocol during events, both domestically and internationally. He is also responsible for supervising ceremonial arrangements and ensuring they are aligned with the dignity of the office. He can also offer counsel on matters related to military or security issues, given his military background. So the ADC has a lot to do. He is someone who is prestigious with exceptional discipline, discretion, and organizational skills. And today, for the very first time, we shall see our president-elect and his official ADC.
Now, does that mean that the vice president will also have an ADC. Can you explain that for us?
These senior officers are carefully selected. They are selected based on a number of qualities. And as I mentioned, the person should be someone with great organizational skills, who is loyal, who is disciplined, who has discretion, because they are responsible for accompanying the personal assistants, managing schedules, and ensuring the president's time is optimized.
Now, on the program, I have seen a 21-gun salute. What does that signify?
So this morning, personnel from the Ghana Navy will mount a full guard of honor for the inauguration here at the Independence Square. And during the guard of honor surpasses all other salutes with fewer rounds. This ceremonial honor holds great symbolic significance. Its purpose varies and depends on the context, but is generally associated with respect, tribute, and recognition. It is a gesture that is accorded to sovereign leaders, and as such, the president, king, or queen. And in military ceremonies, the salute honors high-ranking officials, such as military leaders and heads of government. It is also performed during funerals for high-ranking officials.
Administration issue matter in the country who can't make it or have been invited or have accreditation to be at that particular event are able to attend and witness what is happening at the Independence Square. The first time we are having a lot of first, I must say, we are going to have a first time female vice president take the oath of office and take the office. I see former First Lady Rebecca Akufo-Addo, Her Excellency, close, then immediate past, yes, immediate past, yes. And close by was the now former president. Exactly. The now former president. The freshest former president. Yes. Soon to be former president. Yes, I can bring let's wait for Martin, your reflection so far.
Yeah, it's been, first of all, kudos to the organizers. It's looked very, very well coordinated. Right from the onset when we saw the canopies going up, the laying of the green carpet, I think they are trying to represent the colors of the national flag as much as possible. And so the floor where most of the dignitaries will be walking on is green. And then you have the topmost part of the canopies being red, and then a few yellow patches around just to, trumpet the specific colors of the Black Stars, which has dominated a lot of African flags, if you pay particular attention. And many of them have been attributed to what the former president of the Republic, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, started. So they thought that, there are some scholars who have said that the red, gold, green that runs through many of the African flags of a single Africa, too. Dr. Kwame Nkrumah was actually strongly pushing that agenda of a united Africa based on those colors, etc. But as we speak, many people look very excited to be part of this momentous, heads of states from different countries have shown interest. Many of them have arrived. I'm told that 2 or 3 more are yet to be picked up from the airport, and then they will come straight to the event grounds. And again, the organizers have clearly demarcated. So if you do not have accreditation or a certain type of accreditation, you can't just access any and everywhere. And so many of the locals or people around who would want to observe this are sat under the main shed that is at the Independence Square. Then the canopies and tents that have been built are for the special dignitaries and invited guests who will be filling up those places. And so on your screens now, you can see the members of the judiciary going to take their seats, filing to go take their seats. Again, the head of the quite interesting, the developments in Parliament from last night. Many of them are also expected here to actually form a parliament. So the president can only be sworn in the presence of parliament. So on these grounds, parliament is expected to actually sit and start proceedings, and then it will be on the back of that the president will be sworn in.
So just a reminder in terms of where we are with the event, the order of proceedings as has been made available from the organizers, it starts with all guests being seated. The members of the diplomatic corps, they are also seated as well. Then you have members of parliament seated. Then from there, there is the arrival of the former presidents, then arrival of invited heads of state. Then the next step becomes Her Ladyship, the Chief Justice and Justice of the Superior Court, enter the chamber and take their seats. And so that is where we are currently in terms of the event. And so from
it's also
this stage,
safe to say that the event is about. We expect that to take place in a tad. And you were talking about, Martin, about the color coding, and the color coding is meant to be, and her family, you know, the calls that, you know, it's an embassy, so to speak. And so the color coding, yeah, very much like the flag, but it's also specific to direct people where they will sit today. As they have already packed the place, you can see that, listen, we are almost there with the new government. Once that swearing in takes place, it's a different era for this country. And you know, when people talk about the history, the historic nature of the event, it's a lot of attention on the return of a former president. We don't talk a lot about the fact that there is also a very first female vice president.
You're absolutely right.
You know, because it's absolutely huge deal for this continent.
It is.
A continent where many women are emerging as leaders of the country. It's good to know that we are inching closer to that. We have our very first female vice president. Earlier in the year, Namibia had chosen its very first female president. And so it's good to know that we're here on the doorstep of doing the same thing for women in this country.
You can look beyond now. You can't wake up and think that, look, I want to be the first female president. You know that that is the level that you have to take us to. You know that the issue of the first female vice president is done and dusted.
Indeed.
We're going to have her in a couple of hours. And so it's a very significant step, and it should always be a shining example for a lot of people.
Guys, we always have this conversation about female representation in politics after the horse has bolted, really. Because before we get into an election, you know, we'll talk about it, you know, once a while. But then afterwards, then we start saying how many MPs who are female have been elected into this 9th parliament. In fact, if you look at the numbers as of the dawn of today, when the roll call was made in parliament, the previous parliament we had 40. The number has reduced, unfortunately, Kemeni. In this 9th parliament, even though there's an additional seat increasing the number of seats there to 276, the number of female representation, or the female MPs in this 9th parliament has also reduced, and that's one thing that is not quite encouraging for us. You know, but then again, the female vice president, that is a boost to our democratic credentials as a country and as a people, if you look at the continent as well. And as we're seeing right now on the screen, a number of the dignitaries still arriving. We have a number of the heads of states and then also their vice presidents in town. And one to look out for as well, as we're seeing, we have a former president of the People's Republic of Nigeria also there. We have the president of Nigeria himself as well, and there the former president of South Africa, Jacob Zuma, is also here and present. We also have the Belgian foreign minister. He's an outgoing president.
President himself.
You know, also in there as well. And then we have the Virginia Palmer, who's the U.S. ambassador to Ghana, also present in there. In fact, we have a strong delegation from the UK as well. And as we go on, we'll have a conversation with the UK minister in charge of Africa. He's also in town, and we'll be having a conversation with him as we go on here on your election command center.
And on your screen at the moment is the Chief Justice who will be swearing in the president-elect. And, you know, over the years, as he refers to her, my beautiful wife, Rebecca, and...
You need the cue card.
Procession to enter the chamber. And so that is the stage where we are now. we already completed
Yeah.
the other stage in terms of the Chief Justice and the Justice of the Superior Courts coming in to take their seats. And so the next step that we expect to happen is that the Speaker will come in, will enter the chamber. All members were expected to rise to receive him. Then the Speaker will take his chair, then he will call the House to order. And so then that becomes a formal parliamentary session. Then the majority elect to the House. And the next step will be that the President-elect and the Vice President-elect will be conducted into the chamber. Then the oaths administration goes on as well. And so that is it by way of what we can expect within the next maybe 15 to 20 minutes.
Oh, you forgot the first, speech to the people.
Yes.
The president would have to speak to us for the very first time. 8 years ago, we had a rather terrible experience after enjoying such a beautiful speech. We know what took place afterwards, and so we'll be very keen on marking.
You want to say that we later found out that half the speech was plagiarized. You didn't want to go there.
but I mean, the point I'm making is we'll be very keen on listening to the incoming president, because whatever he says on that at that moment will set the tone.
Very significant,
for how his government goes.
And it becomes the key speech that we are going to look out for at the end of the 4-year tenure. I mean, this is a president who will be doing 1 term. And I say so because that was a defining moment, because it was the speech that the Ghana Beyond Aid was loudly trumpeted. I mean, the verdict is out there. 8 years on, the verdict is out there. I mean, we don't have to argue about it at all. I mean, we know how things are.
Remember, it was also the speech that encouraged the people to be
about it.
If we were not allowed to be citizens.
Well, it depends on how you want to look at it. But I mean, the keys, the significance of this particular address cannot be overemphasized. I mean,
absolutely.
We expect him to state quite clearly what his focus will be. And Mr. Mahama, in terms of His Excellency, I mean, during the campaign period, he had made a point strongly that he's an experienced hand. He's an experienced hand. He had been described by his political opponents as a second-hand driver. But the fact of the matter is that for the first time, we are going to have someone who is taking the oath, who has been president before. Mind you, he was at the presidency for 8 years, 4 as vice, 4 as president, then 8 years in opposition. To see how Ghanaian
we have
the verdict is out there, especially after the last.
Let's just put it out. The Speaker of Parliament, right, Honourable Alban Sumana Kingsford Bagwin, has just arrived at the Independence Square, where a parliamentary session is taking place right now. It's safe to say that he is the one who is going to preside over the parliamentary sitting today. Aside from the president-elect who's going to be sworn in today, he is the most important person at this gathering ceremony. So with the arrival of the speaker for the speaker's seat, the maize is standing upright. What that means is that all is well and the session can take place. If the maize had been swung anywhere beyond the middle, then we would have an issue. Exactly. Because the positioning of the maize communicates a particular situation. So as we see it now, the maize is standing upright. What that means is that parliamentary business, his deputies as well. As we do know, yesterday, in fact, this is the early hours of this morning, we had Bernard Ahiafo, who is the Akachi South Member of Parliament, sworn in as the first Deputy Speaker, and also the Member of Parliament in the Ashanti region, Femena constituency specifically, Andrew Esiama Amoako, also sworn in as the second Deputy Speaker. In fact, he retained that particular position as second Deputy Speaker of Parliament from the 8th Parliament. He is the second Deputy Speaker of Parliament for this 9th Parliament as well. We're seeing as well Kofi Boachi, who was recently announced as part of the preparatory team for the Operation Recover All Loot Oral. He's
also part of
the security team as well. He has a lot to do in this administration. As a matter of fact, during the campaign as well, he was in charge of the security for the NDC in the Ashanti region. You see former National Security Coordinator Larry Bevlolati as well in your shot. Kofi Totobi Kwachi as well, who was in charge of the Ashanti region security and operations for the NDC during the campaign. The former Finance Minister Setekpe as well, you just saw briefly in there. It is widely speculated, and that has not been disputed, that Kese Latufo, while in office as finance minister, we haven't heard so much of Setekpe apart from the day he appeared here during
Alfred,
after the elections on December 7th.
Another interesting point to note was yesterday, the NDC, even as of now, do not have their front bench. The leadership of the NDC in Parliament is unknown. It is because what we've heard is that they are waiting to see if President-elect Mahama will appoint any of the front benches, the front benches from the 8th Parliament, whether or not any of them will be made ministers, because you wouldn't want to put all your eggs in one basket and maybe become the leader of the majority in Parliament, only for the president to also say, well, I actually thought I wanted you for this particular ministerial position. So they are hanging on more or less, because Khemical Atufosin, the current majority leader, is likely to be, like you indicated, if all things stay constant, likely to be the incoming finance minister.
Yesterday we were having a conversation and we were making a point that if you were in his shoes, would you want to take the risk and have new leaders constituted and wait to see what happens? And what if you don't get any position as been expected? And what happens then?
I'm sure at this level, there is a certain certainty. Yeah. There's a certain certainty of where they will lean towards. And it's also good to see former President John Agyekum Kufuor holding the Ghana flag. Some people are saying he seems rather more excited about the fact that the John Dramani Mahama and the NDC are going to be managing the affairs of the country really? At least for the next 4 years.
Why is that? Because he's smiling.
He had his own issues with the outgoing government. He had
serious issues with the MPP. And even in terms of the incoming government, you recall when he had endorsed Dr. Baumia in the build-up.
Yes.
One of, if I could describe him as his protege of sorts.
Yes.
Absolutely. That was that interview that some 2 journalists had with him. A number of people thought that, look, that was a plan one that didn't really work according to plan, and he thought that he really descended into the background of that kind of politics that then drew him into the arena of insults, and he was really berated for what he did during that particular period. But it's also instructive to note as well that he still remains a key figure in the NPP. And going forward, as the NPP is talking about rebuilding, reorganizing into 2028, he's one person that you cannot overlook. He has his own caucus in this particular NPP as we have it. There are many who thought that the Naana Opoku Agyemang-7th-led NPP caucus did not treat the Kufuor caucus that well. So a number of persons who identified with his caucus really did not have a good time over the last 8-year period. With Naana Opoku Agyemang-7th at the helm of affairs. You heard Boakye Jackson, who was behaving more like a Caesar. And so they need to seize their party back. Now, we'll see how things will play out in the coming days. Operation Recover Our Party, really.
just a bit of information on the arrangements at the square. You recall Kemini was talking about the colors. And so we understand that the red branded canopy is for the judiciary invited guests, which includes outgoing ministers, party executives, and the diplomatic corps. And in terms of the green branded canopy, special envoys, invited presidents, former presidents, and governors. Then there are 3 other black branded ones. Those are for the parliamentarians and spouses and parliamentarian staff. Then there is also 3 other yellow canopies. The first one is for the NDC Functional Executive Committee members. The second is for the former vice presidents of Ghana and their spouses, and the middle yellow canopies for the president-elect and vice president-elect, the CJ, and the speaker. And in front of that yellow canopy, as an extended platform, is for the clerk and marshal of parliament. And so as and when those parts of the venue become available, would part of the venue.
So arriving now is Julius Madabio, who is the president of Sierra Leone. He is one of many presidents and heads of state who are expected to grace this all-important occasion. We have right now, as you're seeing, the minority leader of the 9th Parliament. How time changes so fast.
The immediate past majority leader, Kemini and Martin, want to say.
You probably want to say it so he feels good. But as of this morning, he is the minority leader because the 9th Parliament has been sworn in.
You can see it. For those of you watching on TV, that is Jacob Zuma from South Africa on your screening of John Dramani Mahama, who a few days, just about 2 days after the final declaration, had to take a quick trip around a number of countries. So he reignites relationship based on
an interaction he had with President Akufo-Addo at the presidency. We managed to hear what they were talking about. Interestingly, when he met the outgoing president, when he met the outgoing president, we understand that the delegation from Equatorial Guinea are just arriving at the venue as well. You've been touring the continent a lot. You are traveling around. I see you traveling around. And you know his response? Yeah. He said that, look, he wants to hit the ground running towards that ordinarily he would be doing once he's taking office. And so that comes back to the point that we're making earlier on about the fact that, look, this is someone who is an experienced leader.
He's been there, he's done that. He knows the terrain. Of course, there might be a change or two based on what has happened. The terrain. Of course, there might be a change or two based on what has happened in the last few makers on the continent and beyond. So it is instructive to especially many people who are watching, and based on the level of expectation of the president-elect, he had to quickly touch base with a number of the presidents of other countries, especially those that we have good bilateral relations with, to trigger or initiate conversations regarding what kind of assistance they can give us as a country now that he is about to take the realms of that. Those presidents have actually also decided to come down to support him in his inauguration. And we also have the leadership of the National Democratic and of the NDC in white. On his right, we have Julius Debra, who is the Chief of Staff. That was not in doubt because he was Chief of Staff when Mahama was president and was actually his right-hand man throughout the position. I am personally amazed that the Rwandan president, Paul Kagame, is also in Ghana. I mean, it's amazing to have such dignified personalities on the continent come around to observe and grace the occasion. And some people of a certain level of repute have talked about how Ghana and Rwanda are the shining examples of what the continent can be if we are focused as a people in trying to help Africa out of its current doldrums and challenges. And Rwanda has been touted as a shining example on the continent. As we speak, many people have said, and personally I've also observed how Rwanda, their capital, Kigali, is the cleanest city on the continent, and President Tifo come out of that genocide and very beautiful.
And what's amazed me about Kigali is the fact that, look, the land space is not particularly flat like we have it in most parts of the country. It's quite a hilly area, but they've been able to, it's also a very clean country there, and so that is very important.
And it's the way they are orderly as a country that surprises me. And you know, so when I asked him what Koku Anyidoho's father coincidentally happened to be one of the officers who was leading the delegation of soldiers at the time when they had the genocide there.
Well,
and
it's interesting. It's interesting how we're all talking about Rwanda with so much delight. Let's one day talk about Accra with such delight.
And that is why it's necessary to look at that example.
The president-elect John Dramani Mahama is arriving now at the venue that is the Independence Square, where the parliamentary session is taking place as we speak. So this is the moment all the persons, and in fact everyone watching us, has been waiting for. The president-elect John Dramani Mahama has arrived at the Independence Square. Sheikh Osman Nuhu Shaributu, the national chief imam, Dr. Sheikh Imam Nuhu Shaributu. See there also you have one of the key persons in John Mahama's campaign, Professor Joshua Alabi, who sat with Kemini Amano not too long ago on hot issues, and he detailed the strategy that he also put in place and the role he played in the NDC winning power again after 8 years in opposition. And this is the moment, as we're seeing right now, with the arrival of President-elect John Dramani Mahama. Kemini, this is the moment we've all been waiting for, is it not?
Absolutely. And look at how packed the place is. We are indeed ready for history. Let me quickly bring in my guests, pick their quick thoughts on events we are seeing so far. Prof, I'm going to start with you. The day has begun well. We're seeing the number of dignitaries and people who have thronged the Independence Square. What are your expectations of today? Your quick thoughts.
Okay, thank you so much, and good morning to your viewers. I think it speaks very well of our democracy and how far we have come as a country. But largely, the whole concept of inauguration is a generic term that represents three key things. So one, we are looking at the pomp and the pageantry that comes with this. Two, we are looking at the swearing in of the president-elect and then the vice president-elect. And then three, we are looking at the inaugural speech. That is the first policy position that the president-elect is going to deliver. In some countries, it's usually meant to address ill feelings and unite a country that has been divided as a result of a campaign, hectic campaign, or any other thing that might have happened in the past. In some cases, it can be used to appeal for support of the country to rally behind him.
Prof, unfortunately, we're going to have to go. Alfred, where are you taking us now?
So we're going straight to the Parliament House at the Black Star Square. The Speaker is speaking now.
Honorable majority and minority leaders may proceed now.
Sounding out the rhythm of Ghana. And now, the squadron escorting, I believe, the Vice President-elect to the ground.
Yes, and for joy, we are witnessing a momentous occasion, Ghana having its first female Vice President.
There is much joy, happiness, excitement, all in readiness for what we are about to witness.
And security is also in full force. We have various security personnel deployed to ensure the total safety and security of personnel. They are all playing critical roles to ensure that this event goes seamlessly, devoid of any major hitches. We have rich display of culture.
I believe that is...
And that is DSP Mary Agamba. She is in charge of the police mounted squadron.
Invited guests arriving now is the President-elect
and I think
of the Republic of Ghana, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. Shall we all wave our flags to welcome him? distinguished invited guests. Arriving now is the President-elect, John Dramani Mahama. He is accompanied by his spouse, soon-to-be First Lady, Her Excellency Lordina Dramani Mahama. Shall we all wave our flags to welcome him? Into the Chamber of Parliament here at the Black Star Square. The entourage of Parliament includes the Clerks of Parliament and other senior officials of Parliament. We will soon enter the Chamber of Parliament, and so the Speaker of Parliament will shortly take over. Shall we please rise as they process into the chamber? I wish to announce that only accredited photographers and media personnel are allowed at the designated places on the square. If you are not authorized to be on the square, kindly move back.
Honorable members, you may now resume your seats. Members, I now have the singular honor and pleasure to invite Her Ladyship, the Chief Justice of the Republic of Ghana, to administer the oaths to the President-elect and the Vice President-elect. We will start with the Vice President-elect, who will take and subscribe to the oath of allegiance and the oath of the Vice President. Your Ladyship, the Chief Justice, you may now do so now.
what I was going to repeat. Your Excellency, first the oath of allegiance. Kindly say after me. I, Professor Naana Opoku Agyemang, do in an allegiance that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Republic of Ghana, as by law established, that I will uphold the sovereignty and integrity of Ghana, and that I will preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana. So help me God. Naana Opoku Agyemang, having been elected to the office of Vice President of the Republic of Ghana, do in the name of the Almighty God swear, that I will be faithful and true to the Republic of Ghana, that I will at all times preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana, and I dedicate myself to the service and well-being of the people of the Republic of Ghana, and to do right to all manner of persons. I will be faithful. I further solemnly swear that should I at any time break this oath of office, I shall submit myself to the laws of the Republic of Ghana, and suffer the penalty for it. So help me God. Congratulations, Madam Vice President. Thank you. Lift your
Honorable members, the Vice President of the Republic of Ghana shall now sign the oath book.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
She's almost done signing the oath. After the oath had been administered to her, and we can safely say that for the first time, Ghana has a female vice president, Her Excellency Professor Naana Opoku Agyemang, being helped by the Chief Justice, also signing the same oath book as well, and the Judicial Secretary is also in short. There's also the Clerk of Parliament, who had quite a day.
I think the Chief Justice and leadership Gatu is more elated than the Vice President as we speak, because she was just smiling, and when she was administering the oath of office of the Vice President, she was just, her joy was evident. The joy was evident, absolutely. This is...
Immediately after the elections, when she spoke to the gathering, to thank the people that, for voting for them. Remember that she wasn't well. She was wearing a mask. So this is the first time we are seeing her outside of that event. And she's looking very well.
The point healthy. About the ceiling thing we were talking about earlier, and get to talk on her ladyship will understand that, because once Georgina Wood came in, we had to fire Kufu. Then Nina came in between, then she also came in. And so that kind of gives the idea that she's taking a seat for the very first time.
And if I'm not mistaken, you could also tell from the Chief Justice's voice when she was saying, congratulations, Madam Vice President.
That's the point of the joy.
Absolutely, she seemed to have been proud, for the fact that, this is our very first female Vice President.
Absolutely, and history has been made.
And look at how gorgeous, majestic she looks in that seat. Oh, goodness, it's so beautiful. The very first female Vice President.
Your Excellency, you may now proceed to do so.
Your Excellency, kindly say after me, this is the oath of allegiance. I, your name,
John Dramani Mahama,
do in the name of the Almighty God swear.
Do in the name of the Almighty God swear.
That I will bear true faith.
That I will bear true faith.
And allegiance.
And allegiance.
To the Republic of Ghana.
To the Republic of Ghana.
As by law established.
As by law established.
That I will uphold.
And that I will uphold.
The sovereignty.
The sovereignty.
And integrity.
And integrity.
Of Ghana.
Of Ghana.
And that I will preserve.
And that I will preserve.
Protect.
Protect.
And defend.
And defend.
The Constitution.
The Constitution.
Of the Republic of Ghana.
Of the Republic of Ghana.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Your Excellency, now the presidential oath.
I, John Dramani Mahama,
having been elected
to
the high office of President of the Republic of Ghana, do in the name of the Almighty God swear.
Do in the name of the Almighty God swear.
That I will be faithful.
That I will be faithful.
And true.
And true.
To the Republic of Ghana.
To the Republic of Ghana.
That I will at all times.
That I will at all times.
Preserve. Protect. And defend. The Constitution. Of the Republic of Ghana. And that I dedicate myself. To the service. And well-being. Of the people. Of the Republic of Ghana. And to do right.
And to do right.
To all manner of persons.
To all manner of persons.
I
I further.
solemnly swear.
Solemnly swear.
That should I.
That should I.
At any time.
At any time.
Break this oath of office.
Break this oath of office.
I shall submit myself.
I shall submit myself.
To the laws of the Republic of Ghana.
To the laws of the Republic of Ghana.
And suffer.
And suffer.
The penalty for it.
The penalty for it.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Mr. President. Let me be the first.
What is happening now is that he is signing the oath book. That is what is happening now. In the earlier moments, we saw the president-elect take the oath and subscribe to the oath of allegiance and presidential oath. Then he will sign the oath book, which he's doing now. Once he is done, the national anthem will take place, and there will be a 21-gun salute to herald John Dramani Mahama taking over officially as President of the Republic of Ghana.
Also, the Right Honorable Speaker will then invite the President to deliver his inaugural address. So that is the address that Khemini, earlier you mentioned, is going to speak to the Ghanaian people and in fact the entire world as the President of the Republic of Ghana for the second time.
Indeed.
And that is the first in our history as a people. And a lot of talk already has started about his outfit today. In fact, if you look down into history, the late Jerry John Rawlings was sworn in. On that day he was sworn in, he had kente with the white inner. And then also he repeated the same attire in 1996. In 2000, John Agyekum Kufuor, when he was being sworn in, also had kente, but without any inner. You know, because you know the Evers wear the white inner, but the Ashantis do not wear anything. They show you their muscle and how tough they are. So John Agyekum Kufuor had kente without an inner. Fast forward to the late John Evans Mills, he had kente as well, but with an inner, because the Fantis also dress the same way. Then John Dramani Mahama, in fact, his first stint, this is not how he dressed.
No.
Right? And that's a point that you were making earlier. So fast forward to Nana Akufo-Addo, he had kente on with no inner. He also showed that how muscular he was at the time in 2016. Then in 2024, we have this one as well. And that's what you're seeing right now with the President, John Dramani Mahama, now.
Today he's doing the one hand.
With one hand.
Yeah, he's wielding the state sword. I mean,
it's very important. And
so
it's symbolic as well.
It's a symbol of presidential authority.
That is the symbol of authority of the President of the Republic of Ghana. Now he's held it with double hands, and also that has a meaning. If you recall, this became a talking point in 2016 when he held it with just one hand. In fact, the state sword, as we would call it, the
Omana Akumfua.
Yes, a symbol of presidential authority, first held by Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah when he swore the oath of office on the 1st of July 1960. Blake, what do we know about this?
It's made of solid gold. The design is based on that of the double-bladed Afenanta, the traditional symbol of interstate peace. And that is what we saw him holding for the very first time in terms of it being sworn in again.
So the president is actually exchanging pleasantries with the very core individuals he'll be working with closely. So first, his wife, Lordina Mahama, and then also the chief of staff whom he shook hands with, and the deputy as well. So he's moving towards he just crossed the maze of Parliament. Ordinarily, maybe everybody bows before the maze of Parliament, but he's just walked past it.
Martin, I can tell you where he's heading. He's heading to the seat of state. Yes, he's
going to sit on the seat of state by the Speaker of Parliament. So there he is. Again, you can see exchanging pleasantries with the Speaker of Parliament, his Vice President, Professor Jane, and the Chief Justice. Now, he's about to sit for the second time on the seat of authority, more or less, you can call it that way, which is the presidential seat. So,
indeed.
Just to tell you
and you know, gentlemen,
we've gone full circle now.
Just drawing my attention to the fact that it is only John Dramani Mahama who's been sworn in 3 times. When Professor Mills died in 2012 and today. So the history is a lot going on here. The record he's setting is a lot going on here today, right?
And it's interesting. If you read his book, My First Coup d'etat, he makes the point about how a lot of the events that took place in his life were not within his control. He always makes the point that at every turn when he doesn't seem to know what lies next or what he intends to do next, something happens within fate that turns his life around. And he makes reference to how that very first coup d'etat changed his life, not just of himself, his entire family. Again, he makes the point about how at various points when he didn't even intend to know what he wants to do next, he ended up in politics, which was not his initial intention. We also know for a fact that the moment when he thought of exiting politics as well, he was asked to be vice president, and when he even thought he was still done and he didn't want to be part anymore, we saw what happened again. He becomes president, and we see him staying away for 8 years and coming back.